Welcome to the Tiny House Ideas podcast.
And obviously it's sort of given you the bug of sort of continuing to do things like that, because you're planning, is it this year you're planning to do another huge trip on your bike with a bike camper this time?
So the next one's a bit loony. I thought I'd step it up. But for me, so I obviously had to cycle with ET, and it's so wonderful. I can't express it enough, right? And obviously I've done some traveling before. I've done a few walks, and you sort of get that sense, you're camping and that kind of thing. But the nature of being on a bike is it streamlines all your stuff down. So your legs are screaming at you like, just stop pedaling. And in your mind, the whole day, you're like, oh, I'm sure I can save a weight if I, stop brushing my teeth. Like everything, you analyze everything. You're like, can I just put a bit of toothpaste on my finger and I lose this much weight? That's constantly in your mind. And what it does, it just gets you down to like the smallest amount of possessions. You have nothing you own. You have the basic stuff. You're just living off the kindness of strangers, meeting new people, having these wonderful interactions and seeing beautiful places along the way. So your body's pumped full of endorphins because you're cycling all the time. But every day feels stretched and somewhat magical, which you just don't seem to get in normal life. And I wanted, as soon as I stopped, I was on the road for 23 days. Literally the day I finished, I was like, I'm ready to go on another one. It just was stuck in my mind.
Yeah.
And this time I was trying to I wanted to form more of a connection to the pain I was going through, right?
Okay.
So the best way I can explain it is, when you're cycling and you're doing a charity cycle, no one actually knows that you're going through pain, really. I mean, if I cycled by your road, you'd be like, oh, I could be on a commute to work. I could be doing anything. Like, you have no
exactly
idea.
On a 10-15 minute bike ride.
Yeah. Like there's no way to connect to it. And, if you see someone walking barefoot, you're like, wow, that must really hurt. I'm going to donate to you, and you connect to it. And there's another guy called Speedo Mick, and Speedo Mick walked the length of England in a pair of Speedos during the winter, just a pair of little Speedos. And your mind goes, oh, he must be cold. He's doing something.
It sort of
meaningful.
Draws attention. Yeah.
And with a cycle, it's hard to do that. So I thought the only thing I could come up with is if I towed something. I thought if I towed something, they're going to think, oh my God, he's towing that all the way around wherever, right? So that was kind of what I started with. And I knew I couldn't go abroad. I was sort of limited by what we can do. We all sort of limited at the moment, but in theory, it'd be something in England. So my plan is to cycle the perimeter of UK. Perimeter of Britain. So the whole of the coastline. So England, Wales, and Scotland. It's 5,000 miles. It's the equivalent of cycling from London to Calcutta, right?
Wow.
So it's an absolute stretch. And then some mad person inside my brain decided that I would tow something around. So I'm going to be towing a bicycle camper, which I'm going to be living and sleeping in as I go round. I'm going to tow this big old thing, and it's going to be in the shape of a school bus. So
oh my gosh.
It's going to be a Hope Capacity school bus, like an American school bus, like bright yellow, with charity
big
colours.
Yellow.
And it's going to stay on the side of it, tow it like something like towing this 5,000 miles around Britain to change the lives of children with rare diseases. So I think I cannot be ignored this time. I think it's going to be an absolute nightmare. My thighs are never going to forgive me for the rest of my life. But I feel like if you saw that, you couldn't ignore it.
Exactly. People can resonate with that. People can sort of see that you're out doing something. Yeah.
So I think it'd be good. I mean, it's going to be tough.
Amazing stuff. Have you started work? Are you doing it all yourself then, in terms of the camper, in terms of building that, or what's the plan there?
Yeah, so it's entirely me that builds things. I mean, it's interesting.
Wow.
Same with all the ET stuff. Like anything I make, I feel like a lot of people look for perfection in life. A lot of people want to build things that work well, and I understand that. And people kind of get into like, oh, I want this to look really good, and you look to improve. But that's kind of a never-ending cycle. And I have this wonderful hobby of creating something out of nothing, finding bits and pieces around the house, something in the shed. It's all terrible. I'm a terrible builder. I don't know anything about design. It's all botched. It's all, it will fall apart as I go, and I'll be fixing it. It's a lot of like screws, duct tape, bungee cords. That's kind of how I work. But I feel like there's some authenticity to that. And I feel like for people that see that, and I can show the process, building up before I set off, that it's so approachable. I own nothing and I'm doing something like this. There is no reason that other people can't do it. And I always like that it's sort of like, I'm the average person. I work in a supermarket, I work in a garden centre, and I then go out and do some mad bonkers challenges. And I don't want people to feel that there's a lot of money going into it, or there's a lot of thought. No, there is a bit of thought into the design, but it's something approachable. So I've been kind of coming up with ideas. I've seen a few things online, but nothing really robust. So it's kind of entirely new. Obviously, no one's done a school bus before, so so it's not much to go by. But yeah, it's just a wooden frame with a couple of bicycle wheels on. We're going to do a lattice bed with some fabric straps, and that'll sort of like be the bed that I'll sleep in. And then we're going to use Corex. Do you know what Corex is? You ever heard of it?
No, I don't know.
So Corex is basically what they make like campaign signs or real estate signs out of. It's like this
that sort of corrugated
flexi stuff. So it's just that, and that'll be the entire thing. So it doesn't weigh anything. I'll make a dome shelter, and then I'll sort of have a curved nose at which I'll duct tape across the seams, hopefully to waterproof it. Whack a little bit of insulation in, and that'll be it. And I'll be off to go. I think I might have a sleeping bag in there. That's it. All it'll be really. And then spray it bright yellow, put some logos and stuff on it. Maybe have a QR code to donate, and we're set off and ready to go. Hopefully for 5 or 6 months on the road.
Thanks for watching this little teaser for the Tiny House Ideas podcast. If you'd like to listen to the full episode, it's available on all major streaming platforms. So that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all of the others. Alternatively, if you'd rather watch it sort of in a video format like this video has been, then that's available on Patreon. Just search for Tiny House Ideas. So thanks again for watching. Please do check out the full episode, and thanks again.